Hi everyone. Today we are going to make a quick revision for all the activities that we have studied in chapter 1 concerning photosynthesis. So as a definition, if I ask you to define photosynthesis, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis, it is a chemical reaction that takes place inside a plant. It takes place inside a plant in order to produce its food to be able to survive. What are the needs needed for photosynthesis? The green plant needs carbon dioxide, it needs water as well as light. All these conditions are needed for photosynthesis to take place. Where does it take place? It takes place in the leaves because the leaves they contain small plastids called chloroplast which contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. Here is the process of photosynthesis. This green plant is absorbing the energy of the sunlight. It is taking carbon dioxide from the air. It is absorbing water and mineral salts from the soil. And inside the leaves, in a structure called the chloroplast, which contains the chlorophyll, the green pigment, and mainly inside the chlorophyll, in the thylakoid discs, if you remember, the photosynthesis takes place in order to be able to produce glucose, which is the organic material produced during photosynthesis, and to release oxygen into the air. So the plants they need food to respire, to grow, to reproduce. For that reason, they make their own food by photosynthesis. Where does it take place? In the chloroplast, which contain small structures called the chlorophyll. And as I mentioned before, chlorophyll, it is the green pigment and it plays important role. The first role concerning chlorophyll, it provides the green plants. It provides the green plant with their green color, as well as it allows this green plant to absorb the energy of the sunlight. So, as a conclusion, for photosynthesis to take place, the green plants they need water, they need carbon dioxide, and they need light. Here is the word equation of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide with water in the presence of sunlight. This green plant, which contains a chlorophyll, gonna produce glucose, it's organic matter glucose, as well as oxygen. Carbon dioxide, it enters through the stomata. We have small pores or openings on the underside of the leaf. They are mainly situated on the underside of the leaf, which allows the gaseous exchange, the entry of carbon dioxide. And the water is absorbed by the root hair cells, and it is transported upward by vessels called xylem vessels. Later we will talk about them. Okay, so the xylem vessels, they are veins which are able vessels. Sorry, they are responsible to transport the water and the mineral salts, where they form the crude sap up toward the leaves, and the sunlight it provides energy needed for photosynthesis to take place. In this process, carbon dioxide and water, they are converted into oxygen as well as glucose. How are leaves adapted for photosynthesis? If I asked you, why are the leaves well suited or well adapted for photosynthesis? First of all, because they are green due to the presence of a green pigment called the chlorophyll, which enables them to absorb the energy of the sun. And they have a large surface area in order to be able to maximize the amount of sunlight they can absorb. Their leaves, they have a big surface area, which increases the amount of absorption of energy of sun. They are thin, which is an important property for the diffusion of gases to take place easily into and outside the leaf. You know that during photosynthesis, the plant absorbs carbon dioxide and it releases oxygen through the stomata, right? And for this to take place easily, the leaf is characterized by being thin, which enables diffusion to take place easily. They have veins they have a conducting system or veins. They are the xylem and the phloem. The xylem vessels or veins, they are responsible for transporting the crude sap. What do you mean by crude sap? Crude sap, it means water and mineral salts. When the plant absorbs water and the mineral salts from the roots, together the water and the mineral salts, they form the crude sap. These are taken upward toward the plant by the xylem. And when the plant produces a starch, okay, the starch will be distributed downward to all the parts of the plant by a veins called phloem vessels of or phloem veins. Okay, now we are going to discuss together the ways which will allow us to measure the rate of photosynthesis. Measuring the rate of the photosynthesis. We can check the rate of photosynthesis by checking the rate of oxygen production. As you've seen in the last activity, okay, we were checking whether there is oxygen bubbles, right? Which was used as an evidence to indicate that there is photosynthesis. And here is the same. So the rate of the oxygen production can be an indicator for checking whether photosynthesis is taking place. So the number of bubbles or of oxygen gas that should be given in a set specific time might indicate whether photosynthesis is taking place or not. Also, we can check the rate of carbon dioxide. If I've given you a document containing a green plant and all the necessary conditions for photosynthesis are available, and if I told you that, if I've given you a graph showing you the rate of photosynthesis decreasing, what can you conclude from such information? You can tell me, since the rate of carbon dioxide is decreasing, this means that this green plant is absorbing carbon dioxide. And since it is absorbing carbon dioxide, in addition to all the available conditions for photosynthesis, this means that this plant is performing photosynthesis by uptaking carbon dioxide and all the essential needs needed to make photosynthesis. Also, you can know you can check the rate of photosynthesis by the rate of glucose production. As the rate of glucose production increases, this is an indication that the rate of photosynthesis is increasing also. They are directly proportional to each other. Have you ever asked yourself if there is factors that affect the rate of photosynthesis? Of course, yes. Light might affect photosynthesis. Also, the concentration of carbon dioxide might affect photosynthesis, as well as the temperature might affect photosynthesis. Let's check together how do these factors affect the rate of photosynthesis. I'm going to start with the first factor, carbon dioxide. As you know that carbon dioxide is one of the reactants in photosynthesis. What do I mean by reactants? Reactants, I mean by it one of the essential needs for photosynthesis to take place. If the concentration of carbon dioxide is increased, look at the graph. When the concentration of carbon dioxide increases, as you see, the rate of photosynthesis is increasing till a certain point. Yes, at some point, another factor may become limiting, and this is shown by the plateau, the flattened section of the graph. A large concentration or big concentration of carbon dioxide, or when a limiting factor gonna be limiting, when another factor gonna be limiting, okay, this might stop the process of photosynthesis, and the rate of photosynthesis will be constant. So we can say that the concentration of carbon dioxide and the rate of photosynthesis, they are related to each other. They have a directly proportional relation, but till a certain point. Beyond such point, the level becomes constant. second factor, which is temperature. Temperature plays an important role. If we get, for example, many green plants, if I got 3 green plants and all the conditions for photosynthesis are available for the 3 experiments, and if the factor that was different among these 3 plants is the temperature, if you will notice that the plant will react, each plant will react differently depending on the temperature. You have to know that as the temperature increases, at very low temperature, there is no photosynthesis. And as the temperature increases, the rate of photosynthesis increases till a certain factor, till a certain temperature. Beyond a certain temperature, for example, when it is very high, for example, at high temperature, okay, the enzymes that are involved in the photosynthesis reaction, okay, or in the light reaction, the enzymes, due to the effect of high temperature, gonna be denatured. What do you mean by denatured? It means destroyed. They will die, they will be destroyed, and due to this, when there is no more enzymes, the rate of photosynthesis will decrease till it becomes nil or equal to 0. So you have to know that a very low temperature is not good for the green plant to make photosynthesis. Neither the low temperature, neither nor the high temperature. The plant should be placed in an optimum temperature, okay, in order for photosynthesis to take place. What about light intensity? Without enough light, the plant cannot photosynthesize very quickly. It needs light, enough light, in order for photosynthesis to take place quickly. Okay, but increasing the light intensity, as you see, look at the graph, as the light intensity is increasing, the rate of photosynthesis is also increasing until a certain point. You have to know, listen, that a high intensity of light destroys the plant. And which structure mainly? The chlorophyll will be damaged, it will be destroyed, and once it is destroyed, the plant will not be able to make photosynthesis anymore. So high intensity of light is not efficient for the plant to make photosynthesis. This is all for the factors that might affect photosynthesis. And now, my lovely students, as a homework, I want from you to solve all the exercises of chapter 1, page 30-31, okay, in order to check them together the next week. Please, any question, ask me. Thank you.